For my lesson plan, I will be teaching algebraic operations with polynomials to an Algebra 2 class. So for this lesson, I've chosen two main standards in Algebra 2 that are the building blocks for many of the other things that we focus on. I have one ITSE standard, and then I developed 5 essential questions that should hopefully help guide the students through the lesson of what is expected of them, what they're learning, and help them focus on the material. So to start with, the students we grouped in either 2 or 3, depending on the class size, based on whoever they would like to work with. And they will be reviewing stuff they should have already learned about polynomials characteristics, what makes a polynomial, the different types of polynomial. It's important that students understand a polynomial before they are able to use operations. So using this previous knowledge they have and an Edpuzzle video just to help them remember all that they've learned, they will then work in these groups to create a presentation through Adobe on what this information is. And I want to use Adobe so all the students are using the same platform, but they get different options. So they can use a presentation, a slideshow, the photo collage, as long as they are able to get all the information on. So, for example, if they use a presentation, it lets them add a title, add the subtitles, they can create their own theme. So it lets them they can add a photo, they can add text. So it lets them show their creativity while also conveying the information. The next thing they will do is they will then work with Gizmo. So after they create all their presentations, they'll be uploaded to our online learning platform, to a discussion board so they can view each other's, and then they will move on to actually learning the new material. So with Gizmos, it's a simulation. This one really helps the students visualize what they're learning. So a lot of the troubles with the operations is kids struggle visualizing what's happening, so they struggle learning the concept. So here, Gizmos gives them the directions. It allows them to visually see what's happening. So as you see here, the students will have to build this first polynomial. So they see that there's one of these. There's 3 x's. There's 5 individual ones. And then they continue. If they get it wrong, for example, it shows them that what happened, what the difference is, and so it lets them fix it. So they are actually able to work through it on their own. They get to explore it by themselves. Then we will come back together for a whole group discussion on what they've gathered so far, any questions they have about the addition, which also works with subtraction, and for a whole group lecture on long division with polynomials. The students will then use Gizmo simulation of synthetic division to see how synthetic division works and how it relates to long division. So why I like this synthetic division simulation is it lets the kids build this synthetic division while it builds the long division next to it. So it's able to really make those connections for the students of why synthetic division works. The students tend to enjoy synthetic division more because it's a shorter, easier way, but many of them don't understand why it works because they have struggle visualizing it. So Gizmos helps them see that visual as they work together while letting them to make the discovery on their own. The next thing the students will be doing is after we get through all the material is they will then be creating a presentation that overviews all that they've learned. It will cover long division, synthetic division, subtraction, addition, and the original polynomial things. I'm going to recommend that the students use Canva, but they can use anything they want. The one thing I like about Canva is it gives them options such as video, presentation, a flyer. It will let them make an infographic, a brochure. So it has a lot of building blocks to start with, and whatever one they choose. So for example, if they choose the infographic, it has them that they can start with so they don't have to just start from scratch. It will help save them time on the building process, and it will also help those who are not as creatively inclined to really get a start. It also still gives them the options to be creative, to build what they want. It gives them a lot of editing options, and it lets them choose which way they would like to share their information. After we are done with the lesson, I'm going to give the kids a student survey that will just let them reflect on what they liked about the lesson, what they didn't like about the lesson. to provide changes for the future, what to keep using in the future. I'm also going to let them reflect on their own work to just see what they thought, why they worked hard, why they didn't work hard, what motivated them, what didn't motivate them, so I can incorporate this more in my future classes. I like the simulations and gizmos because I really think it provides a visual for the students, which one thing with upper level math courses is the visualizations are not as strong, and so some students struggle with the math because of that. One thing with working and playing this lesson, even though I haven't been able to implement it, I have seen that I have to make sure when I implement the lesson, I need to make sure I provide clear directions on what they expect from the students. And that is my lesson.